Hello folks, I hope that you are just having the best day in your life today. Today we're going to be taking a look at John Wyndham's classic science fiction novel from 1951, The Day of the Triffids. It's his most influential novel. It's a novel that's been on my death queue, which is my name for a bucket list, for a while now, because it's funnier. And I encountered it after I watched a 1981 BBC miniseries, which I loved. This has been turned into a miniseries a couple of times, a movie. John Wyndham was born in 1903 and he died at the age of 65 and 69. He was a big writer, prolific, particularly during the pulp era. He wrote for like Wonder Stories, Amazing Stories, Planetary Stories. And he wrote mainly science fiction. He's most well known for this one, or The Midwich Cuckoos, which became the movie Village of the Damned twice. So those are probably his two novels that have endured the test of time. And this novel is incredibly strong. And I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 10. It's really good. I just finished it last night. It's about 271 pages long in oversized print. It took me probably about 6 or 7 hours total to read it. And I read it about a week. I spent about an hour a day or so knocking it out. So if you wanted to knock it out in a day or two, you certainly could, just by divvying it up into halves. I think you'll be fine in doing so. But this is an incredibly strong story. So let's go ahead and start into it. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to open up, and our main character is a biologist who works for a company and takes care of these plant animals that are called Triffids, which the novel is named about it. And they are these three-legged mobile creatures. They can fire a shoot from a stalk of a little thorn about 10 inches away and pull themselves towards their target. It's poisonous. It's a poisonous dart that they fire about 10 feet away or so. And it can be stopped by wearing a shield, like a face shield and hand shields. They fire it at the eyes and try to blind you. It will blind you when it hits you. Or it'll kill you just outright, but it'll blind you and hurt your eyes if it's less so. And so it's nasty stuff. It moves. It's tall. It takes a couple of years to grow. It can be harvested for oils, and it's good for defense. So it was. We don't know for sure where it is, but we find out that there is a story where this gentleman from the Americas. From Central America, he set out to bring Triffids to the west from where they were created in the USSR, and while he did so, his ship was hit. While his plane rather was coming back, and it was hit and destroyed in the midair, and the seeds dispersed into the air and they landed all across the globe. And all of a sudden, they were not just in the west, but they were like everywhere at the same time, sprouting out all over the place. And so that's how the Triffids kind of break out, and they were supposedly designed by the USSR as a form of defense, and also as a method of high quality oils that can be used for for industrial oil. And it talks about replacing olive oil, so it also seems like it would be an edible oil too. So that's pretty good for harvesting them, so that they're going to be harvested. Our main character, the biologist, works at a Triffid farm. He was stung by a Triffid while working there, and he was blinded and sent to the hospital. And he is now recuperating with bandages over his head. And he's going to wake up in a hospital on the day that his bandages were supposed to be removed. It's a Wednesday. And he's supposed to have his bandages removed this day. So he rings and nobody answers. He calls out, nobody answers. He wonders what's happening. He waits for a while, and the clock ticks another 15 minutes. He walks over to the door, opens it up carefully and cautiously because he can't see. And he's bandages. He calls for a nurse. Nobody answers because he's asking for food and some help, and nobody is answering. So he's not sure what's happening. After waiting for a little bit and rousing up the courage, he starts to search around the hospital, and he realizes that the staff have not responded to anywhere on the hospital, and he's not sure what's happening. He ultimately take off his bandages because they're meant to be taken off that day, and his eyes are working. So good, that's good, because he was stung by Triffids and he wasn't sure what would happen. So he's happy that his eyes are working. And he begins to explore the hospital, and he finds out that there are a lot of other patients in the hospital, all of which are blind except for him. And he heard about this comet that was beautiful and highly unusual, that was surrounding the Earth while he was down with the bandages on his face so he couldn't see it, but apparently all the workers were seeing it, and they opened up the windows so the patients could see it too. And so the suspicion has started to lurk that maybe watching this a beautiful comet has caused everybody except for him to go blind, and now he can see. And so now he's woken up in the world as one of the few sighted people, as the only sighted person that's in the hospital. He comes across a doctor who's blind, and the doctor takes him upstairs to his room, and then he commits suicide, jumping out of a window, and on the 5th floor. And so a few things like that are happening, and definitely seems like some dark times are about to happen. And that's the end of chapter 1. And actually, I took you halfway through chapter 2 with the Triffid history. And so that's it. It's a pretty fun post-apocalyptic story. I enjoy it a lot. I really like the idea of waking up to bandages into a new world, and you're one of the few people that can see, and everybody else who was able to see is now blind, and you who are blind can now see. I like that dichotomy. It really works with me. I enjoy a lot. It's very well written. There's a lot of great wordsmithery by Wyndham. He's definitely, you can tell by the time he got to 51, he was not writing this early on in his career, right? He got into a point where he is a really strong smither of words and phrases. He's got a lot of clever things in there, which left me impressed. I could not recommend this book for you more, so I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. That is The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. So, have you read it? Have you heard of it? Have you watched the BBC series? What'd you think of it? Did you agree or disagree with my take on anything in this novel? I would be more than happy to engage you with it further in the comments below. If you like this video, why not hit that subscribe button? Because there's going to be a lot more of these to follow in fantasy, science fiction, and horror. And finally, hey, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, especially in this social media era. So thanks again for spending your time with me. I appreciate it. It's very humbling. Have a great day.